to talk about this topic of avoidance or procrastination. I've been thinking about it a lot lately because me, like everybody else, you go through periods of just not wanting to do anything. And I think procrastination relates a lot to one of the cognitive biases of the brain, the cognitive biases are basically residing in the emotional part of our brain that control or have a lot of power, at least over a lot of our decisions without us even knowing it. So procrastination relates to this avoidance tendency. Okay, and a lot of people think procrastination or avoidance comes from just laziness. Your body inherently likes safety and comfort. Your brain is not produced for your success, it's produced for your survival. So to your brain, comfort and being comfortable and nice and cozy in bed all day, your brain thinks, this is great, I'm surviving, I'm doing amazingly well. But the other kind of avoidance, which I am actually more guilty of, I'm not lazy. I do a lot of work every single day, from morning till early morning. But the other one is the sort of halfway there action kind of avoidance. So for example, things that don't move the needle on what you want to accomplish. So let's say you have a business where you're selling something online. Rather than going out there and looking for products, rather than putting money into Facebook ads, rather than going out and looking for people who want your product, contacting them, maybe instead of doing that, you do something that's easier, that may be beneficial in some way, that satiates you and makes you think, yeah, I've done something today, but it's not actually moving the business. An example is like you go read a bunch of books. That's also a kind of avoidance. At some point in time, I'm really guilty of this, by the way, but at some point in time, you need to put down the books. You need to stop watching the YouTube channels. You need to stop figuring out, what kind of posts you need to make on social media. You just have to go and move the needle on the money aspect. With the social media marketing agency people out there, that means stop reading books on how to close clients. Like read a couple and then go out and try and do something. It's like a video I put out the other day. Don't try to reach this field of dreams perfection moment where you've read 20 books and you think you've perfected something, but you haven't actually put it into action, so you don't even know. What you should do is go out there and just approach a client knowing what you know now and learn from that experience, okay? And if you notice some particular thing that went wrong, like there were certain objections the client had, or there's a pattern, maybe you go to a few clients, there's a certain kind of objections, overcome those objections. Like figure out how to overcome those objections, because that's what is actually happening. By reading a ton of books, you're trying to predict what is going to happen, and that might not even happen. So essentially it's a waste of time, okay? Remember that information and knowledge is useless unless it's put into practice. Get out there, move the needle on what you want to happen, okay? Which is likely to make profit, to get customers, to get people buying your stuff or your service. Notice what happens. Notice things you might not be doing well. Notice the areas you fall down. Then go read about that thing and then adjust your strategy. Come back and do it again. That's how you do it. Don't be an info junkie. Remember, the two types of avoidance is number one, just being straight up lazy and staying in bed and not doing any work. But number two is not satiating yourself, making yourself feel like you've done something by reading a book or doing like a half action, I like to say, okay? Do a full action, jump in the deep end, get your feet wet, come back, and then analyze.